That's what Crystal said when she was on my show. She's like, I just agree, don't agree. She's like, she showed up. Like, I don't know who, I couldn't have done that. I
I
mean,
couldn't have done. I
you
wouldn't
would
have done
stay
that.
in bed.
Yeah, but she has to work. She has to work. And that's, I wonder how long it's, I mean, we know it's been over 20 years since she's felt that way. That's got to be an interesting, like, I have no choice but to get up and go to work today. I cannot let this thing go. Like, I have to show up and deliver, which also puts Andy in an interesting position to be more tough at the reunion, because Erika can't just be like, you know what, fuck it, and walk off. There's nothing to walk off to. So it puts it in a very interesting dynamic where she has to ride this out on air.
That is why Kathy Hilton gets to sleep, because we all know the housewives that say they're going to quit if this one comes on or that one comes on, and they're all full of shit. With Kathy, they're like, this woman will just decide not to come back. No hard feelings. Yep. She has since said that she wants to come back, but that is because she had fun and it was light. I guarantee you, because I've said this before, who gets through Housewives completely unscathed 2 seasons? I guarantee you Kathy will be unscathed next season. No,
she gets to pick and choose, and everyone's fighting, and she's sitting at the end of the table putting on lip gloss. She's like, don't pull me into this shit. I'm not holding a diamond. I'm here because I want a front seat to watch. And I think Kathy gained a lot from the show. We saw her and Kyle's relationship mend, and that would be an interesting point if Kyle's under fire in the group next year, to see how Kathy navigates that, because Kathy and Kyle have not always been good. So that would be a very interesting dynamic to see.
That's true. I bet you we're going to see that. And that makes Kathy more of a reason to come back. Listen, I'm holding my breath for a little Paris and Nikki. Okay. That's all I
mean,
want.
Same.
I mean, even when Nikki called and was telling her mother that she was like, that outfit's ridiculous, I was like, this is everything. When they're on Watch What Happens and Nikki's talking about crying when her mother said she was going on RHOBH, like, this is just like, in what world are you like, I'm just bored in my life, and so I'm going to go film this show today, and I'm Kathy Hilton.
Love.
One final thing before we go. Do you believe that at Andy's baby shower, that, because that's the rumor, is that it was Kyle, that Kyle was going around and said to Camille and Lisa, at the very least, like, Erika's having some financial troubles, that this all went down at that baby shower?
I mean, we've heard it now more than once. And whenever we hear things more than once, it definitely piques my interest. I wonder what was leaking around that area. Because again, Erika lives in Pasadena. Her husband runs in different circles than these other husbands, but you also have this overlap of husbands that are in real estate. And I could see that information being passed. I don't know why Kyle would choose to do that, but that was also before they were as close as they are now. So it rings true to me. And we know Camille doesn't give a shit about just blasting it everywhere, but I don't see what Camille has to gain by making it up. I think Camille kind of co-signed what Bethenny was saying, and that's very interesting.
It's very interesting. I think it's going to be interesting too to see. I mean, it seems like Dorit is now against Erika, but I think it's going to be interesting to see, like, Dorit, are you going to make amends with Erika or stick by Kyle? And Rinna, who's really has no problems with Kyle, what's going to happen with Rinna next season? Her undying loyalty towards Erika. Well, now you have to choose between her and Kyle. How is that going to play out for you?
And are they still going to be afraid? I mean, those women, some of them seem to genuinely be afraid of Erika, but I would have loved to have seen Sutton turn around and go, yeah, or what to you? What are you going to do? You're not going to sue me. Who are you going to pay to sue me? And how are you going to pay for it? Or what to you? Like, I'm trying to be compassionate because your whole world is crumbling, but what are you going to do to me, honey? Seriously.
Well, as a fellow lawyer, that is what I said. Like, I'm one of these people in life, like, seriously, you start at a 10 out of 10. I've said this before too. I do not go after people. You can insult me. I don't get upset. You can say whatever you want about me. But if you're really going to draw a line down the middle and, like, threaten me, I see that I see blood red, and I will fucking destroy you. So I would have said to her, like, no, that's when it's like, wait, so this isn't like you just don't like me and you're leaving nasty comments. This is really like, you're threatening me.
You're threatening me.
I would have been like, what? And then I would have just decimated Erika. As
you would have looked at her
with one sentence if we want to.
You would have looked at her and been like, you don't have a rich husband. You don't have an education. You don't have a job. And all you can do is pat the puss. What are you going to do to me?
Right.
Really.
Like what? Like how is,
Yeah,
what are you threatening me with?
And instead,
And then
we
if
know
she
that that's not Sutton's vibe. Sutton started crying because she was afraid.
And knowing Sutton, having her on the show 3 times, that was like an authentic, like, I felt so bad for Sutton. Like she's this girl.
Oh, it rang
like,
very
scared.
true. She seemed scared. I mean, Sutton's not cut out for a courtroom. This was never her world. But Sutton also seemed to genuinely try to mend fences and be there for Erika. Like, hey, I've gone through a divorce. Hey, let me take you to the spa. Hey, let me be sisterly towards you. Let me lift you up. And then Erika just turned on her. I don't really hold much against. There are some things that Sutton did this season that I don't love. Some things that got blown out of proportion, but I don't hold. What happened with Sutton and Erika was all on Erika. And you could see that Sutton was afraid.
It's like she said at the end, like if this were, I mean, I would come back next season and just be like, you're dead to me. Like I can't get blood. I've tried. I've literally tried. You're not pleasant. Like, I don't know why everyone's so afraid of her values, her friendship. Like, what are you getting from Erika as a friend? Like, what do you get? This undying loyalty is what you're being required. What do you get? Doesn't seem to me like she's so warm and fuzzy and you're allowed to speak up and have an opinion and talk about I don't know what they're getting from her.
I don't either. And it's not just undying loyalty. It's also blind loyalty. Because I could see that Sutton was like, no, I'll be here. I just have some questions and I want to have a conversation with you. And Erika was like, no, if you question me, you're dead to me. And that's a blind loyalty that most people couldn't abide in this situation. And it surprises me that Rinna did.
It surprises me. And, because you don't read, Sutton had a bodyguard. I don't know. I don't know at what point.
For the reunion?
I don't think for the reunion, maybe, but I think for filming. I think after that in real time filming, she came to the set or the scenes with a bodyguard.
It looked like Erika might snap on her. And we've seen people get physical on the show. We've absolutely seen people go hands-on with each other. And we've seen people go hands-on with Andy, Teresa, Judah.
Yes.
So
there might be a bodyguard at the reunion
dramatic.
too, but I think she got one in real life that was with her. Listen, again, Sutton has tons of money. I would like to travel with security all the time, wherever I go. Why? I mean, just keep the bodyguard. Like, why wouldn't you just have this all the time? You never know.
You never know. And it's funny when you're recognizable. We talk on the internet for a living and give our opinions. A lot of people are like, oh, your opinion's this, my opinion's that, let's chat. Some people are like, your opinion's this, fuck you. And so I can understand the desire for I don't like what you think. And so I don't like you and I want to end you. It's a very interesting and kind of surreal situation when you work doing what we do.
And how about when you really don't have an opinion because your job is not to have one? I mean, today it is, but like you have these guests on, people come after me, not even for my opinion, they come after me for my guests. How dare you give this scumbag a platform? And I'm like,
interesting.
How do you explain your job to someone who's just starting at a place of not understand? Like, I'm not going to engage with you.
We're here to have conversations.
You need to come back and talk about Jen Shah, because I am just also obsessed at why people are not tripling down with her.
Yes.
There's something, I have theories, and there's something disconnected about why people want to talk about Erika 24/7. And we've kind of forgotten Jen Shah is like in a lot of trouble, probably more than Erika.
She's definitely facing, a lot of prison time. And the AUSA has called her one of the most culpable defendants in this entire fraud scheme.
Right.
And she's the one who did it. This isn't her husband's doing. This is the first time the housewife is the hustler. The housewife is the one doing the things, not the spouse. With Erika and with Teresa, it was at the end of the day, the thing that was done by their spouses and they benefited. This was done by Jen Shah. And everybody's like,
I've said that all along. I'm like, why does no one think this is like much worse? Like, she did this.
It's a big deal.
The last time you were here on Patreon and talked about Jen Shah, we didn't know she was number one. Like, she was in that range.
They hadn't given us all the information we have now. We have so much more information from court documents than we did. So yes, I would love to come back and chat about all of it and about the way it's playing out on the show and people being shocked that there's helicopters when they're searching her house. And I'm like, oh yeah, serving federal warrants is a big fucking deal.
Right. Like, this is a big deal. And we'll talk a little bit about Brittany next time too.
Of course.
Where can everyone find you? Because like you really are my go-to. You know,
Thank
you
you.
break it down in layman's terms that again, I have a law degree. So I mean, I understand half of it, but I mean, there's parts I don't. And anyone that doesn't have a law degree, I don't know how they're following any of this. It's just complicated. I don't
Yeah,
mean
it
that
is
with an
complicated.
ego. It's just really complicated. Every day something is different. I've had people reach out to me and say, David, can you interpret this? I've been sending people your way. So if you're
Oh,
getting it,
thank
I'm
you.
like, why? I can't read through this right now. No, this is one. No.
And this is what I love to do. I mean, I am a legal commentator in the pop culture space. I've been a lawyer for over 15 years and I love breaking it down so everyone can understand. You can find me on YouTube at the Emily D. Baker. The podcast is The Emily Show. And I do quick bits over on Twitter and Instagram at the Emily D. Baker. If you just want to know what the documents are, what they say, like sometimes we can't keep up and go live when they're live. So we follow that. I've been following Brittany closely, Erika Girardi, and then other stuff in the pop culture space as well.
Any other good cases going on that we should know about?